And now for one of our bigger topics, Justin Haley and Quentin Haley taken to the track this weekend for the World Short Track Championships.
Pretty exciting news here. Justin will be racing in the UMP division while Quentin will be racing in the crate modifieds. This will be the first time these two have been on the track together in quite a while.
There's a lot to prove for these two, and this weekend presents an amazing opportunity for the Darkhorse Race Cars crew to make a huge statement to everyone.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Justin Haley, driving the number 99 Darkhorse Racing Modified from Winamac, Indiana. So I initially started growing up, racing micro sprints, mini sprints, 600cc. Micro sprints up in Indiana, and it was just an easy way to go racing. Had 3 or 4 local tracks around my hometown of Winamac, and had a really good mentor, Zeke Lewis, who also was racing micro sprints at the time. So it was a good budget-friendly option for me to get some dirt racing, a good stepper between quarter midgets and street stocks. And obviously, I kind of went the pavement path and started late model racing. Got a few ARCA opportunities with Limeade. From there, just evolved into the NASCAR pavement route, and then eventually started truck racing. Needed just a little refresher to get back in to the dirt swing of things when we were heading to Eldora one year, and picked up modified racing, bought a car from David Strimmy, and started racing. I think we won our first 3 or 4 races out in the modified, and I really enjoyed the horsepower to weight ratio, the little tires we have on these things, and enjoyed it quite a bit. So just kind of kept it around, and the modified career, it just kind of stuck around, and obviously I've gotten more and more cars since then. First Elite chassis sitting behind me. Just kind of like it. It's a good budget-friendly option. Dirt modified racing is. We might not race for the most money every weekend, but it doesn't take a lot to get to the racetrack. So it's been pretty budget-friendly and a lot of fun. Yeah, obviously mental aspect of racing is a big part of it. Obviously you have to have a few key factors. There's your physical limits and then your mental limits. So I think a big part of it mentally is where your confidence is in yourself and your abilities and your race team and the car you're driving. I think as a young racer growing up, it's easy to get nervous and anxious, but kind of as you do it more often and it's kind of your weekly basis, you start to get the hang of it, and mentally you can prepare. So there's still some weekends that you always want to improve on, especially on the cup side of things. 500, 600 mile race, it's tough to stay mentally focused for the whole race. But as you go into a dirt race, there's a lot more things that you have to factor in, right? You don't have a whole team around you taking care of everything. When we go to the dirt track, it's only a few of us, so get out of the car, maybe grind tires, put fuel in it, make adjustments to the race car. It's a lot more to it mentally. So I also think that's why I like dirt racing, is it makes me versatile, not only on the track but off the track, and allows me to work on my equipment, make it better, maybe take a shock and spring off the car and put it on the spring smasher, dyno the shock, and figure out look at some graphs, figure out, if it's going to work for us, and try to dissect the setup and really put it into the race car. So I think that's really why I like dirt racing, is I got a little more hand in what we're doing on the ownership side and also the driving side.
I'm Quentin Haley, driver of the number 13 Darkhorse Modified Lethal Chassis, originally from Winnemac, Indiana. Growing up, my family was heavily involved in racing. Justin and I, when we were really young, we used to ride our bikes around our driveway, and we would draw out a little track and chalk, and we would alternate between who would be the driver and who would be on the pit crew, and we'd come in and practice these pit stops where one of us would pretend to change the tire on this bike. And then I kind of got out of racing. I went off to military academy. I started playing rugby in high school and college, and really racing kind of took a side to my life, but it was heavily involved with my family and Justin's life, obviously. And then I came back to Charlotte. I went to UNCC. I kind of got into running flat carts over at Millbridge in the D&Q series. I kind of just asked on a whim to my stepfather, Nate, hey, can I get in one of Justin's modified? He kind of laughed at me. He kind of thought it was funny. I didn't really expect to ever get a chance to drive one. Just, it's so hard when you're my age at 23, I think is when I started really getting into big cars. It's so hard to learn everything. And yeah, I hopped in one. I managed to convince everyone to do a test at Cherokee, got in, and the first lap I think I got on the chip, and I think Justin looked at Nate and just said, oh crap, like, he's not scared. And that's kind of where it took off, and I've been running modifieds now for 2 years, and I had a lot of ups, had a lot of downs, and it's been a journey.
Yeah.
When I was a young kid, I really looked up to Jason Leffler and David Stremme. They both raced for my uncle, and just having that personal connection with both of them was really cool. And I just thought it was so neat how they would come to my small town of Winnemac, Indiana, where we had 2 stoplights, and here are these NASCAR drivers. When I got back into racing, I had to pick a number. I thought about choosing the number 11. It was Justin's number at the time, and I thought it'd be kind of cool if I ran the 11 and he ran the 11 in Xfinity, but I started thinking about it, and the number 13 came to mind. Jason Leffler, he ran that in a sprint car, and unfortunately we lost him a couple years ago. So this number 13 really sat on my mind, and the more I thought about it, just as my own way of honoring him, and because he was so influential in my early years when I really was into racing as a child, I said, it's an unlucky number, but I think it fits me.
Yeah, so the 2022 season up to this point, obviously my first full-time season, it's been a good season of pushing myself to new limits. I think just take a step to Cup really opens your eyes to every little thing that you can extract out of yourself and the race team. It's just the little things, pit road restarts, practice, especially if you get to practice. So, I think the 2022 Cup season has been good. Haven't been able to run a lot of dirt. The Lucia Speed Weeks got pretty much rained out, which was pretty sad, but obviously you can't control the weather. And then we went to Illinois for Speed Weeks up there. We were fast, just had a lot of issues and ended up on our lid and transitioned to this Elite chassis. So took a little 6-month break off from dirt racing to kind of refocus on the Cup stuff. And then obviously as the NASCAR season's dying down, there's dirt races throughout the off season that I can utilize. So just trying to rebuild this program to go to Charlotte, kind of see where we stack up against the best in the country, go from there.
Load-in is only a few days away here, and the anticipation is building as the preparation continues for both the 13 and 99 crew.
Justin's really been turning heads at the Solid 31 this season, with third place finishes at Darlington and Texas, a top 5 at the Charlotte Roval.
And don't forget, the 99 car has an all-new Elite chassis for Justin, which will be a challenge for them this weekend, and Quentin's looking to redeem himself after last season.
Absolutely. Lots of storylines for these two heading into the racing weekend.
Coming off of last season, my own expectations were a little higher. I wanted to finish up front a lot more. Last season was really just about learning where the limits of the car were, learning how to drive, just things a lot of people take for granted who have been racing for a long time. I really had to learn how to drive a race car at the age of 24, 25, and that's been extremely difficult just because so many of the people I'm racing around race every weekend. They've been racing their whole life, they've been around racing, whereas I had to kind of jump into this not knowing much. So this year we've done pretty good though. We went to Illinois, ran. I was running 5th or 6th, I think, at a really stout field of 30 or 40 cars. Unfortunately broke a drive shaft with about 5 laps to go. Would have been a good finish. Then we went off to East Lincoln. I ran 2nd in the heat, finished 2nd in the race. That was a huge boost for my confidence. I think I almost cried when Matt came over to tell me congratulations because just so much work had went into it, and even finishing 2nd just felt like a victory at the time. Then went to Cherokee. That place was pretty wide open. I may or may not have jumped the starts a couple times and lost a couple rows here and there. Finished 5th, I believe, which is another good run. And then we went to Friendship. I qualified what I thought was going to be on pole until the last 3 cars. I guess the track must have got faster, and they were really, really good cars. But qualified 4th, started 4th in the feature, and unfortunately just kind of ran out of talent. About 8 laps in, I kind of got in my own head a little bit. But it's been a good season so far. I really feel like things are starting to make sense to me in terms of how to drive the car. And, my ability to talk to Matt and just let him know what I'm feeling in the car to help him make adjustment changes has been just exponentially better than last year. So getting ready for the short track nationals at Charlotte, it's a lot of just disassembling the car, bolt checking everything. Obviously the stuff like doing oil change for the motor and just going through all our shocks and springs and making sure everything's right. The hardest part has actually just been acquiring the tires. I mean, there's a tire shortage right now in racing altogether, and so making sure we have enough tires for that. I mean, we're probably going to go through 2 or 3 sets over the couple days that we're there, and then just mentally getting ready. Kind of going out there, making sure I feel comfortable in the car, just trying to find things on the setup, and just making sure that when I'm getting ready to go to Charlotte, I feel good about it. I feel good about the car. I feel good about myself. I'm mentally prepared and ready.
Yeah, I was sure what to expect here. Got no chance to test it, no chance to shake it down. Just go out there and feel it out, I guess. About 75%, maybe 80. Start getting a little confidence built up. See how she works. I think she's ready.
Welcome to the dirt track at Charlotte, here for 3 days of racing action. The Dirt Car World Short Track Championships.
One of the biggest events of the year. All the preparation, all the team building, it all leads up to this, the final event of the year for a lot of these teams.
We have a heavy slate of racing action here today. Plenty of time to see cars out on track. We'll see UMP modifieds, crate modifieds, 602 late models, Hornets, and street stocks. A loaded field here with lots of divisions.
Hot laps will roll off at 5 p.m. sharp, which will set the field for Friday's heat races. Then it's the UMP Modified Division qualifying for a Championship Invitational. The top 10 will lock themselves in. Afterward, we'll have a Championship Invitational race and a 20-lap feature for our competitors.
Anyway, just putting on the old fire suit here. Got a mess behind me. Take out the Elite for the first time. I've actually never drove this Charlotte dirt track, so excited to get out there. New car, new track, new Justin. There's plenty new this week, so got the old FOE fire suit on here. Got Quentin, he's at class right now, doing whatever they do at class. Just gonna roll with it, Not gonna send it. We're gonna ease into it here. Going to first time the car's been on track, so gotta take it slow and steady. Hope for the best, I guess. Last time I was in a modified 6 months ago, I flipped it. Here we are. Yeah, it's just important to go dirt racing. I think it gives back to the local community, and I also think that there's a lot of dirt specific fans. I think the Martinsville Charlotte weekend is cool. It's only 2.5 hours away from each other, and you race all night Friday, Saturday, and then those same fans go to the racetrack Sunday. So I don't quite dirt race as much as some of the other Cup guys, but when I do dirt race, it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. For the most part, some nights are better than others, but I think it's just one of those things where if I can go have some fun and really enjoy myself and be in a no pressure environment, dirt racing, then it's good for my overall health. I think obviously when you're at the highest form of stock car racing in the country, racing the NASCAR Cup Series, it's it's pressure, and pressure is a privilege, but at some point you have to go on vacation and relax, and it just happens that dirt racing is my vacation.
The Championship Invitational coming up soon.